Here we go. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to be a part of this beautiful Zoom train testing that we're doing with the Hillside Wine and Spirit and Regency Wine Nevada for the past it's about 5 months that we're doing this. We're trying to do twice a month now. Very happy to have all of you here this morning. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you how brave you are testing wine with us at 10:30 in the morning. But I have the pleasure today to introduce you to Lionel Lavail, which is our director of operations / winemaker / visionary from the south of France of the Cotes de Roussillon. He's very close to Perpignan. We're going to look at the maps in a second, but I want to thank everyone to bring over this the time and the energy to test some of those wines. Obviously, we're going to let Lionel introduce himself, the family Cazes, the property, and all the good stuff. You're welcome to ask any question anytime. Everybody's mute right now just for the comfort of Lionel presentation, but everybody after the Lionel presentation want to ask a question, please do that. You can also use the chat window over here to actually make this happen. Be sure that you're mute through the presentation, and again, only with your
40 bucks a month.
Let's do that so we can be done.
So I'm just going to be sure that we're going to mute everyone. There we go. So this is again Regency and Hillside Wine and Spirit. Thank you very much, Lionel, my friend Lionel. Thank you so much, my friend, to be here and to support the program and to obviously hold on because you get mute for 1 sec. Here we go. Fantastic.
I don't have to be. I am mute? No.
No, you're perfect.
I do everything like that.
Okay, so Lionel, thank you again to be here. We obviously developed different programs for the past 3 or 4 years together. Obviously, we love what you do up there. We decide to go with your production and with your selection because there's such amazing job that you're doing with this vineyard in the south of France, and also your philosophy of winemaking, and also the vineyard is obviously something you're very attached to. Your family is up there for a long time, and I know how passionate you are with biodynamic growing and farming processing. So can you please let us know this morning to present yourself, tell me where you at, and maybe talk to us a little bit more about Domaines Cazes in general.
Good morning, America! As a famous program TV. Thank you, Bruno, first of all, to organize this breakfast for you, aperitif for me. And it's a funny time together to share, so I'm very happy. But I am a little bit jealous because you are in Collioure right now. You have the sea, my sea, dark side of you. So we have 2 estates. You are in Collioure, my second estate. I am in my first estate in Domaines Cazes, in the middle of the vineyard. We just have the sunset, as you could see. And we have here 200 hectares in one block, totally certified, organic and biodynamic. One thing is not organic today, it's my car. So I'm sorry, but I don't have an organic car. This is just a calendar, a funny link with our friend from America, because I am fan of America, and overall to drive my Jeep Willys in the middle of the vineyard is a good tool, but it's also a good tool to do the tasting. So we're going to do the tasting on the car. Okay?
Beautiful. Fantastic. Great scene. You're beautiful.
So I want to show you something. Look, the stone. In Châteauneuf-du-Pape, everybody talk about the stone. Here we have a very similar terroir. I am in a young Syrah right here with a great terroir, the terroir of the Roussillon. So perhaps I start to introduce myself.
Yes, please.
So I'm Lionel, I'm 47, and I work in the vineyard. I start when I was 12 or 13 with my father and my grandfather. I am in the family winemaking I am the 7th generation. So we have a long experience of producer. We are we are producer of wine. So very important thing is to say all my wine is made by my vineyard. I'm not purchasing grape, I'm not purchasing wine. This is our own production because we want to respect our philosophy. And my philosophy is to pay attention to the soil, to the plant, in order to give to my son and to my daughter for the next generation a very healthy vineyard to continue the adventure. That's very important for me. And we checked that in the 90s. In 97, we decided to stop to use all the chemical products used by my father and my grandfather generation. That's something important. So in the 90s,
we have, if I may say, Lionel, we have a tradition before we go too far, and because we wake up so early just to be sure we have a breakfast of the champion. I want to start with everyone getting a glass of wine. You can see that too much with my background. You should do the same. We're going to start opening the Domaines Cazes. So this way, the same way that you talk to us about your family and the production, we can enjoy a glass of wine as well. So let's start. Everyone start with Domaines Cazes, the Sans Soufre cuvée. Everybody grab a glass. Everybody, there we go. You get the same wine over there. That's great. There we go. And I'm going to have a toast for everyone to be part of this amazing session this morning. Thank you, Lionel. Thank you, everyone, to be here. Cheers. This is Domaines Cazes, Sans Soufre cuvée, and we're going to talk to you in a minute about it. And one of you can take the lead after the testing to tell us what you think about it. But go ahead, Lionel. This is just a tradition that we are putting in place just to be sure everybody has a glass of wine on their hand.
I like your tradition. Good tradition.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers to that.
Cheers, my friend. So perhaps I want to introduce a little bit about the Roussillon. To understand the terroir of the Roussillon, it's important to know that we are on the sunniest region of France. The driest is like California. It's a little bit like the coast, the west coast of the USA. It's very windy, very dry, and very sunny. We have 325 days of sun. That's why to produce, to farm organically and biodynamically, it's perhaps easier than the other places because it's the wind is coming from the north. It's very dry wind called the tramontane, and the tramontane move the leaves, clean the leaves, so we could use less quantity of chemical products, and we continue to be efficient. Even this year, with a lot of rain in the spring, we have less mildew than many other producers, even with the chemical products, because it was dry very fast with the wind. So we are a little bit lucky in this region because the climatic conditions are very interesting to farm in organic.
Got it.
So the Roussillon was famous in the past because of the sweet wine. My grandfather generation was a producer of sweet wine. 100% of the production was dedicated to the sweet. So we have very old Grenache because Grenache is the main grape to make sweet wine. Sweet wine could be Banyuls, Maury, Muscat de Rivesaltes, and Rivesaltes. So my strategy in the 80s with to continue my father's start, and the family Cazes start sooner in the 60s. We kept our old vines to make dry wines, and we have outstanding old vines, 80, 90, sometimes 100 years old, and we use these fantastic grapes, this fantastic plant, to do dry red and dry white wine. So we have two different terroirs because the Roussillon is when the mountain dive in the sea. At the end of the Pyrenees, so on the other side of the Pyrenees is Cadaqués and Barcelona, and the French side, our Catalan side, because we are also Catalan. Perhaps you could see my home. My home is at the back Perhaps it's too small, but there is a Catalan flag at the top of the tower here. So we have Catalan flag and Catalan color because we are very proud about our culture, our Mediterranean. We are sunny people. We are sometimes we feel different than many French people. That's important to explain to all of you because sometimes French are a little bit arrogant and different than we could be in the south. And I think you could feel that in the wine because our wine are very sunny, very simple, but also with a lot of charm and very elegant. So that's the target of my wine, also to be the same as we are in our behavior every day. So
if I may say, I just want to recap. Obviously, we understand where we at now, but also I just want to be sure that everybody understand the background of the family. It's not you didn't start the biodynamic. Didn't start just yesterday. It took you generation after generation to put in place this vineyard. And what you did is obviously you actually purchased many of the neighbor to protect this vineyard. So can you develop a little bit more about the family? I think you the family start in 1895, which is obviously
97
ago.
In 95, 96, we made analysis of the soil, and because in the past it's important to understand, as everybody, we used chemical product because in the 70s and the 80s it was normal and it was very efficient. So we follow the trend. But we checked this trend is dangerous when we made analysis in 95 and 96. We checked the life in the soil have disappeared. That is to say, the soil were totally dead. And when the soil is dead, the plant is going to be dead. And the flavor of your wine will be the same everywhere because everybody uses the same product and you have a standardization of the taste, which is totally crazy when you are proud about your place and your terroir. So there was no solution. We have to check what is the possibility. At this time, it was organic and biodynamic. We started the biodynamic in 97 and it was totally new. We discussed with some people in Alsace, in Austria, with Michel Chapoutier. We were a few at this time to take this direction. But my position was to do 100% of the vineyard in one year. So we switch everything. And the problem was because it's windy. I told you it's very windy in my place. The problem was to have neighbor who spray chemical products and touch your plant. So when we start, we had 120 hectares. At this time, we have 250 hectares because we have a one block estate of 250 hectares, totally protected by the spray from other farmers. That's very important. But it was an obligation for us to buy that. And step by step, we learn in 98, 99, until 2001, 2002, it was a little bit difficult because we made mistakes, because for the plant, when you stop chemical products, for the plant, there is a big change. There is a new phenomena, and the plant, the roots have to go deeper, and the plant have to be to learn to be alive by itself. So it takes time, but I could say now, after 23 years, soon 24, that's an amazing progress for the quality. We have acidity, we have fresh flavor, we improve the quality dramatically, and that was the best choice of my life. And today, now we go to no sulfite wine as the one we taste. We have very pure flavor. It's very sunny, but it's very fresh. We have elegancy. We have longness in the wine. We have spiciness. That's exactly what the consumer expect now to taste. Very deep, fruity, soft tannins wine. Easy to drink, but complex, but with an authenticity, with a style.
Got it. Now, obviously, you talk with your vineyard about your vineyard in a very passionate way, and we all understand now this is biodynamic, which was not something obvious in the region where everybody was using pesticides. So you were one of the pioneers. You were the pioneer of biodynamic farming and starting in 1997 when everything was obviously produced with a biodynamic vineyard. As today
Yes.
we're moving to this new wine, the wine that we have in our glass, it's the no sulfite natural wine process. Now, do you think it will be, and obviously it's an obvious question, but I want you to say it. Do you think it will be possible to make a non-sulfite wine natural way with a vineyard and is not biodynamic?
Technically speaking, it's possible, but for me it's crazy. The problem of I am the president of the Organic Council in the south of France. We try to find a legislation because today everybody could say I am biodynamic without any certification, or I have biodynamical practical, because 20 years ago people want to hunt me, want to kill me, and they say, you're Domaines Cazes, Lionel, you're crazy. And for me it was tough to explain biodynamic, but now that's the opposite, is trendy. So everybody try to use the trend without any certification and any philosophy. How you could imagine to make a vin nature and using chemical product in the vineyard? It's crazy, but it's possible because today there is no law, there is no rule to protect the word vin nature. That's why on my wine there is no rated vin nature. There is organic certification logo, biodynamic certification, and there is no added sulfite stamp. That's all the certification you could have with the rules, and also the certification in America, which is NOP certification. So we have the certification. So that's why we have a lot of control. So if you want to say I'm organic, you have to be controlled. It's too easy.
Got it. Now, when we put on the label a non-sulfite added, we obviously don't add any sulfite when you do the pickup during the night. When you do the fermentation, you don't use any sulfite.
No.
But we do have a little bit of sulfite naturally on the grape, correct?
So naturally, during the fermentation, the berry is producing some sulfite. So the level of the sulfite is 0.2 milligrams per liter, or 0.3. So under 10, under 0.1, there is the rules is no sulfite. After 10, you have to write contain sulfites.
Got it. Now, did it was difficult to make a wine like that, and then it took a long period of time for you to get the technique to make a wine like this?
I was very surprised when because I was a little bit worried about that to test. And frankly speaking, it's my third vintage. Now today we have made our fourth vintage. We perhaps finish the harvest tomorrow. So it's a good day. And we have a fantastic vintage. And when you have sanitary speaking, very good fruits, good berry, there is no risk. We in the past we had some sulfite in the cellar every day. Sometimes we didn't know why. Each time you touch the wine, you had sulfite. And my big surprise is without any sulfite, you protect the wine, you have full tank. After the fermentation, you don't have to move too much the wine just for the bottling, but the quality is incredible and the wine is able to age, is able to travel. You have a bottle in America, shipped a few months ago. The wine is stable, the wine is pure. There is no deposit, there is nothing in the wine. This is very reliable.
Got it. Now, about this cuvée over here, we're on a GSM, correct? So Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre. So can you give us the breakdown about the different grapes that we have on this cuvée?
Oh, it's a big majority of Grenache. Grenache is perfectly adapted. Grenache is Granacha in Spain and Grenache in France. Grenache like the Mediterranean weather. Is not afraid by the weather. If it's too hot, it's not a problem. So we have 50% Grenache in this vintage, 25% Syrah, and 25% Mourvèdre. So the Grenache make a wine very round, very soft, very juicy. And when you drink a wine with no sulfite, you want to have a juicy wine. You want to drink some juice of berry, of grapes. And that's exactly what you have. So
now, can you just go back to the winemaking? Can you go step by step about the process to make this wine?
Okay, the process is very simple. So you have to pick the grapes at a good acidity level, around 3, and a good degree, around 13.5, 14. We pick the grapes during the night, okay? And after we put the red for 3 weeks maceration, okay? So it's quite deep. And after we use the first juice when we press the grapes, the first juice, this is première coulée. So the best juice, there is any press, because the juice from the press, you have to add sulfite because you have more oxidation. But the first juice you put in a full tank and that's finished. You didn't do any remontage, so the idea is to have the wine. The structure of the wine is coming from the 3 weeks maceration in a tank. But after the fermentation, we didn't move the wine to give some more structure. If you go to the structure, we have our premium wine and we add a few sulfite. The no sulfite wine is a juicy wine exactly for now, for the breakfast or for the aperitif, something with a good concentration, very pure, but not too strong.
Now, are you using any the steam? Are you doing any les grappes? Tu fais des dégrappages ou pas?
Alors, tout est égrappé. We
so
not
100%
using
steam. So you don't use any of the cluster, no cluster whatsoever.
No cluster, no. We just the berry, the maceration, and we press. After we age on a cold temperature, and I could advise also. I don't know how you drink right now the wine, but this red wine could be a little bit chilled. It could be fresh because you keep the freshness. That's something. We talk about drinkability. That's a wine with an incredible drinkability. And when it's fresh, I think it's, even in summertime, it's great red wine.
Are you treating the Grenache and the Syrah the same way, exactly the same way? Are you doing all those wines on the same tank, or you separate the Grenache and
No. My strategy, I think the most important thing is that when we blend. Each year we change the blending. So sometimes I could tell you if it's 25, 30.
So it's separate.
So we do all the block is small. We have a lot of small tank and we do vinification block by block and grapes by grapes. That's very important.
Okay. Are you treating the Grenache and the Syrah in the same way as far as maceration?
Exactly the same way.
Okay.
The difference is coming from the soil and coming from the typicity of the grapes. I think when you do a vin nature, you have to go to naturality and not to have two technical things, just the expression of our terroir, old vines. Don't forget, we talk about vines, 60, 70 years old, and the yield, because the wine have a good structure because of the yield. The average yield in Domaines Cazes is about 18, 20 hectares. This year will be 20. 20 is very small. That's the smallest yield in France also.
The youngest. The
yield, the production.
Okay, got it. The smaller production, got it. Yeah. Now, when you talk about terroir, what is the difference between the terroir, between the Syrah and the Grenache and the Mourvèdre? You say it's in a different block.
We call the crest. So the crest is a lot of argile, of clay, and a lot of stone. As you could see here, we have a lot of. We use more the blocks with the stone for the Syrah. Huh? So you could see here. I don't know if you see well.
Yeah.
So here you have a Syrah, and you could see how we are in the stone. It's big stone, so we're using a lot of material to plug the soil. And just a comment, you could see it's organic, and you could see how it's clean in the vineyard, the grass. So we plug a lot the soil, and that's very important to plug the soil, because in the past, when we kill the grass with a chemical product, the roots were very small. but because of the plug of the soil plugging, the roots go deep, deep, deep. So we have less hydric stress, and you have more typicity of the terroir because the taste is coming from the soil. During 8 months, this plant is eating by the soil, not with the vegetation, not with the leaves, you know.
Now over
So
here, I can see that this is a regular cut like we do in Bordeaux in a different part of the region, but also know that I visit you in the past where it's another part of the vineyard. I believe we're going to talk about Pauline in a minute. It's more like in a gobelet cut, correct?
yes, alors the big challenge for us was to use a good mechanization, and I like to do. You use a word before pioneer. Many journalists and many people say in Domaines Cazes we are pioneer for biodynamic, but also for many things. For example, this year we use some robots. We have electronic tractor with GPS, and they're plugging the soil because my problem is to be efficient on a big size vineyard. So the mechanization is very important. So more and more we use less gobelet. This is a young vines. For the old vines, for sure is gobelet. In Poly, it's only gobelet. But in Domaines Cazes, we try to use more tractor to make innovation, electric tractor to go down with the pollution, but to be efficient in the vineyard.
Got it. I have a question. So some people are asking if this one is has a capability of aging, or this is a wine made to be drinking like young and fresh.
But as I told you,
because there's no aging, correct? There's no.
No. I think it's a mistake to imagine to age a wine without no sulfite. But aging, we have wine. The first vintage I have in my cellar is 1932. So we have all the vintage from the 30. So when we talk about aging, we have some red from the 70s, from the 80s. So to age a wine during 20, 30 years, I think it's finished. And I think with no sulfite wine, it will be very dangerous. I don't have the experience, but I think, and I made this wine to ship to everybody in the world and to drink, to enjoy life. And I think this period today is a good period to enjoy life, no? So
yeah.
take your bottle, open your bottle and enjoy your wine.
Yeah, I call that vin gouléant. So
exactly.
It's a vin gouléant, it's easy going.
For sure, because of the structure, because of the vertebral column of the wine, because of the concentration, this wine is able to age 1 or 2 years. We use a cork very, very, very hard. We just fight against the air contact. So we just to protect the wine against the air contact. So we bottle the wine with azoto, and after we use a very, very strong cork. After that, you could age 1 or 2 years without, I think, any problem.
But so it's a very stable wine. I have to say to everyone that before we ship over the wine to you guys, we actually test the shipping for like a year. We're shipping by air, we're shipping by boat. We're putting it in the container because I'm just annoying about those natural wine that you find in the market that are not very stable. And when you get to a restaurant, especially for what we do every day as a wine director, we have to, and wine sommelier, we have to get to the table and we have to present a wine to a client. And we want to be sure that 100% it is good and drinkable and then people can enjoy it. So vin nature these days, it's very tricky for sommelier to be at the table because you never know what you open and you never know what you're going to get to the glass to your clients. I have to say that this one was made to be sure that it's a guarantee that the wine is stable, then it doesn't go anywhere. It does have a life in a glass. What I'm saying is we're going to go and we're going to ask anyone who is ready to describe the wine for us for a minute. But I have to say that I experienced this one with a lot of different presentations with sommelier and all that. And after talking to opening a bottle of wine, putting in a glass, the evolution of the wine in a glass in an hour, it's absolutely fantastic. That's why I was asking everybody this morning to open the wine for an hour because you will see the difference. So That doesn't mean it's in balance, meaning that the wine is still alive, meaning the wine is natural, and I mean the wine is asking to express himself in the best way. So the experience with this wine for the last 6 months was just amazing. How the feedback from people, it opened up to be a little bit more reduced, but as you go with the time, like in a half an hour, the wine is just really taking off and really express itself in the third way. So we're going to ask anyone. Go ahead.
You know, Bruno, I made this one because I taste so many Vin Nature horrible. I made this one because I want to show we are able to supply something reliable. I'm supplying all the 3-star Guide Michelin in France from 50 years. So today we are supplying the top restaurant in France, in Paris, with this wine, and the sommelier are very happy because there is a big demand for Vin Nature, but they were very disturbed by the offer, and sometimes they have a big trouble with our Domaines Cazes, no sulfite Vin Nature. They could open bottle and it's very easy to sell. And I think it's important.
It is important, very important. Thank you to mention that. Is anyone to take the lead and the description of this wine? I know that's it's early in the morning, but I really would appreciate if somebody can take the lead and describe this one for a minute for everybody else. Is anybody ready for that? Wave your hand if you want to do that. I can unmute you. If you don't take the lead, I will I will point somebody. So I don't want to put you under the spot here. So who's ready? Okay. So I guess I am going to name someone. If someone is ready? No? Yes? Not playing that's not an easy game on me, guys. You're going to blame me after that. Frédéric, I can see you playing with the wine right here. Do you mind to give us a small description of the wine, if you don't mind?
Not at all.
So let me introduce Frédéric. He's a sommelier, master sommelier right here. He's one of my very long-time friends. He's working at Alexander Steakhouse in Pasadena. And I really appreciate that you can do that for us today, Frédéric. Thank you.
Hello, Frédéric.
Hey, enchanté. So I want to share with everybody that 4 years of my life were in the Roussillon. My culinary school was Verneuil-les-Bains.
Oh, do you know Pierre Camot?
Come on, that was my teacher. He passed away and I'm so sad. Yeah, Pierre Camot took me for the first time to Domaines Cazes and Domaine Gouby. That was our first trip in 1992.
He was the best friend of my mother. So
oh my God.
Like my family.
Oh my God, that was my teacher. So that's the man that
cheers to them. Cheers to them.
That's the man that led me to be sommelier. Pierre Camot took me to Nîmes. I did my sommelier training in Nîmes. So that region I know very well. Have it in my heart, very deep. So those wines, yes, we are familiar. I have a lot of results on the menu, and I support the region all the time.
Thank you for that.
So, hey, my pleasure. So the first question, I like to make a question. Do you have any barrel that the following spring started fermentation and a little bit of CO2 coming up in the bottle?
Question to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If there is some CO2 coming in the bottle.
Yeah. Did any barrel that, to your experience, to your knowledge, any barrel restarted fermentation? Back in Paris, on the natural wine, that was the problem we were having. Wine restarting fermentation, barrel exploding, and CO2 showing up. Did you experience any of that?
Because there is a lack of hygiene and they don't do malolactic fermentation. So sometimes you have a second fermentation. That's the comment I made on some Vin Nature, incredible, impossible to taste. So our process is to finish a long fermentation and to do malolactic fermentation. And after we do a very, very small, very wide filtration. But also because some of people leave so many matières solides, some sediments. That's also recreates sometimes the fermentation process. That's why the one also is clean. If you look at the color, it's acceptable. So we don't have any problem with fermentation again.
So you
Thank
don't
you.
have this problem. You don't have this problem at Caz, and that's what
No.
that was the question.
No, never.
Okay.
So comparing the two wines, obviously there's a wine that is more approachable than the other.
Frédéric, if I may say, can't we just do the sans sulfite, the first one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I see here a pleasant wine, a wine that you can enjoy every day, lighter in structure. If you don't want to go for the usual Beaujolais and everything, or the Loire Valley, like all the business people do in Paris, as we mentioned, slightly chill, because people do that in France. They have lunch with a wine that is a little lighter in structure to not get hit, and slightly chill. That'd be hands down one of the wine I will go for. Fruit forward, very pleasant, means that is something that you can enjoy with every kind of meal. You can have that with fish, you can have that with meat, and that's a good first bowl, while something bigger, spend time in a decanter. Beautiful variety of black fruits, ripe fruit, but not jammy. That's the difference. Beautiful black fruits on that. I have some ripeness also, but hey, I enjoy the amplitude, how potent, how exuberant that wine is, and for sure that's something that I would buy for the restaurant any day. Beautiful presence in the mouth, freshness, because it's a young product, so freshness, acidity support, and I'm sure if you want it a little bigger in tannin, a few degrees less, and that's the trick for the lighter wine, the tannin will show a little more. But to me, Gouléant was a good expression, and that's what we learned at school. That's a perfect description for that wine. If I had to pick one word, the fruit is there, the acidity is there, the tannin, but it's all balanced, and it's a very pleasant bottle. And honestly, yes, I will have that for lunch any day.
Merci, Frédéric.
Thank you, Frédéric. Really
Mon
appreciate
plaisir.
that.
Mon plaisir.
It's a comment made by a champion of the world.
Philippe Forbach. Hey, I did when I was at school, I did an internship at the Bistrot du Sommelier in Paris.
Ah, so great.
I used to work with Philippe.
Okay, I know him very
Great. Thank you, Frédéric. Does anyone want to add anything to this descriptive? You can put it on the chat, obviously, because I'm also on the timing for you guys. I know everybody has to go back work. So let's talk about Clos des Poliles now. So Clos des Poliles is a different property. Beautiful, super. So you're on the 18, everybody is on the 17. Okay, so
yes,
I'm 2017 Clos des Poliles.
Yeah, I look for my 17 everywhere. I didn't find any bottle. I'm very sorry. We are totally out of stock, but so successful wine, an incredible place. First of all, I bought Poliles in 2012 because Poliles is an iconic place for all the people in south of France. It's a bay of 100 hectares of vineyard in some small terrace of schist, an incredible terroir in front of the sea. Everything is handmade, everything is difficult, everything is complicated, and everything is low in production, but so crazy, so incredible in style. The style of Poliles is, as the Domaines Cazes, is a Grenache. Is mainly Grenache, but it's also Mourvèdre, because Mourvèdre is a grapes who like to see the sea. And in Poliles, you see every time you see the sea, because you are in front of the sea. So it's a terroir of schist, totally different than Domaines Cazes. Schist is like stone, like leaves, very dark. It's a brown and the black schist. Okay, and the schist is very interesting because the schist is sometimes smell like like a pierre à fusil, something a little bit smoky with a lot of minerality. So we like the minerality in the wine. So Claude Pauly is a collure made on the fruit style, very fresh, very elegant, with a style very Mediterranean, with a lot of spicy. For sure, more concentration, more complexity than the Domaines Cazes sans sulfite. But the idea is to show how collure could be amazing with a huge concentration, but an elegancy, a finesse, and even a saltiness, because saltiness is coming from the air, from the sea, with a lot of humidity in the morning, and you have the saltiness of the Mediterranean and the minerality coming from the soil of the schist. Do you hear me?
Yeah, very well, very
Okay.
well. Alors, it's saline, so it really you have the ocean influence to the wine. It's definitely showing very well right now. What is the breakdown of the grape?
It's 60% Grenache, 20% Syrah, and 20% Mourvèdre.
Got it. And the age of the vine are older than the
very old. We didn't plant from the last 20 years. We use the same grapes. We have to plant a little bit, but the average year of for the red is about 70 years, 70, sometimes 80 years old. So this is only small grapes, small fruit, very low production. Sometimes it's sown everywhere with a small terrace. Very difficult to understand. I don't know if you have a picture, but it's a very unique terroir protected by the law. Pauly is a Grand Site de France also, so it's impossible to have any building. So we have one block estate, 100 hectares with a beach and a bay. We have a restaurant on the beach. So I could advise all of you, everybody, to come one day in your life in Pauly to enjoy anchovies, because Collioure is famous for the anchovies. So, or some fresh fish and a glass of Collioure. It could be white, because we have an amazing white also. It could be red. Collioure is a very poetic terroir, very unique terroir.
Nice. Now the process is the same about vinification, or you do anything different than what you do at Cazes?
No. In Claude Pauly, I decided to stop when I bought this estate. It's not coming from my family. I bought this estate. I bought this estate because I don't want the old owner was a good friend of my family, and it was impossible to sell this iconic place to Chinese or to people from anywhere. So I fight to buy this estate. And I succeed. I'm very happy to have this incredible estate. And my philosophy was to change all the vinification. So I stopped all the barrels in the past, the aged wine in barrels, and I bought only concrete eggs, small concrete eggs. Eggs is also a very good symbol, because Salvador Dali paint in Collioure, and the eggs is a symbol of Salvador Dali. So, but also the eggs is very interesting because it keeps the minerality, because it's concrete, and the concrete is working on the minerality of the wine, also in the red.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you have some lees. The lees are moving by themselves without any oxidation again. So it's a complexity, and the minerality is coming from the terroir, but also the vinification. And concrete eggs are very, very interesting.
Now, that was a question, that was a very funny question. Are you allowing any American tourists to come over and to see you over this time of the year? The answer would be yes. It is possible to travel in Europe right now. I am going to be over there actually next week, so it is possible. The next question, which will be more technical, yes, they do have a Domaine de Pauly white. We do carry the white wine. This is also amazing Grenache Blanc. Can you tell us a little bit more about Pauly white very quickly, Lionel?
Sure. The terroir is perfect for the white. And Michel Béthane, a famous French journalist, told me there is two grand terroirs in France for the white. There is Burgundy and there is Collioure. because the white in the south and typically the Grenache, you have some Chardonnay in the north of France, but the Grenache here is perfect. And the white is 90% white Grenache and 10% gray Grenache. Gray Grenache is an incredible grape also. And we have the saltiness and the minerality incredible in the white. So we have a very small production, only 10,000 bottles of a Collioure white, amazing, without any oak, just minerality, freshness, saltiness, with a fresh fish on the barbecue. It's a big moment of gastronomy.
Yes, we do have, and we do have some whites in inventory. They are really, really good. It's a little bit older vintage. I think we have 14 or 15 in stock, even 16, but we do have a little bit of the white, and that's going to be part of my special that I'm going to announce at the end of this session about prices and special deal.
We are out of stock each 6 months. We are out of stock with our white because our white is famous because it's a luxury is simplicity as a food, and the Collioure and the good fish, a fantastic fish, fresh, just well cooked with a good bottle of white wine is a big moment in gastronomy. And I think that was all the people expect. And this one is doing this emotion.
Beautiful. Is anybody want to take the lead of the testing of the Clos des Polides? And everybody want to tell us what you think in a few words about this great wine? Yeah. Anybody want to wave their hand? Here we go. Kat, thank you so much. I'm going to, here we go. You're here. Thank you so much to do that for us today and to be part of it. Go ahead.
I already finished my glass, so I figured I'm up right now. So this one was really, like, right off the bottle, you know, we coravined it earlier this morning, and it was really just very aromatic, like with the spice and that kind of cocoa and garrigue. And then as it's kind of had some time to simmer down, more of that kind of juicy and blueberry and cassis fruit is coming through. And it seems a little more layered now. I definitely got a little of like crushed pepper and like olive tapenade. And then kind of the florals came through where they're a little more dried. And then really what's striking me is the minerality of this wine. And, you know, just learning a little bit more in depth about this region has been awesome. And yes, I want to visit it. It looks gorgeous, especially Collioure. But really that's what comes through on the end. And I noticed somebody had mentioned salinity that's underlying there with this kind of sun-baked sort of earthiness that comes through. So even though it's layered and it kind of is going towards a serious kind of style, there's really this sort of fun freshness that lingers with that fruit kind of component as well. So thank you. I think it's phenomenal. And I'm very excited. So
that's great. Thank you so much, Kat. You know what I'm going to do?
Thank you very much. I think you should come to Collioure and to enjoy many other wine and many other food. So you will be very welcome next time.
We'll be sure to send everyone to your direction, Lionel. It's one of my favorite spots in France in general. I actually love to spend some time in your region. It's so beautiful. I'm going to do a little something new today if you want to play the game. We always, in the industry, we're always thinking about food pairing. And instead of going one after another, what you think about the food pairing, why don't you put on the chat what would be the best dish on your menu where you are to pair with these wines? Just put it on the chat. This way we can all looking at it and we don't have to talk too much about it because we are running out of time. But let's do that because when I drink wine, I always think about food, and I think that everybody's in the same boat with me. I want also mentioning then Lionel, obviously, and being in the Roussillon, being in a Banyuls and Rivesaltes appellation. Obviously, you all know the background of the appellation was to produce sweet wine, fortified wine. By the way, it's one of the oldest regions making fortified wine. Yes, we do, of course, carry on our portfolio the Banyuls Grand Cru from the Clos des Polides. We also carry on our inventory some Rivesaltes old vintage. So every year I go to see Lionel, we pretty much select one of the barrels, one of the tank, one of the wood tank which one would be best for our distribution. So we started with a 1997 Rivesaltes Ambré, and today we just received the 2004 Rivesaltes Ambré. I have a little bit of the 97, but really the new vintage in the market right now is 2004. It was just to be sure that everybody understands that we carry also what's make this region very well known long time ago, which is the Rivesaltes and Banyuls. And if anybody want to try those wines, you know where to find us. Is any question for anyone want to ask Lionel right here? Is anybody has any question? Wave your hand if you do. Then anyone did have a feedback on the natural wine? Are you thrilled about natural wine? What's the natural wine is in demand in the market? What is what the consumer is talking about when they're talking about natural wine? Do you agree that we should have some natural wine in our wine list? Or do you think this is something that is not relevant for what we're doing these days? Any comments on that? Anyone to take the lead on these comments? Everybody agree that we should have a good selection of any kind of wine. Kat, go ahead.
I think there's such a diversity, and sometimes that's great, but I think in the wine world, there's such a challenge of having that huge diversity without there being rules and an actual law to state what is natural and what isn't. And people use it for their advantage, and they're not really gaining the trust of anybody because they're making a wine that's a little off-putting, even to somebody that likes natural wine. So I think it would benefit to have an actual law, even if each region starts doing their own. I think it would benefit for the sales market to kind of have that, so they do know what to expect.
Okay. Any other comments? Nico, do you have any comments for us? Do you have any question? You have to unmute yourself. Here we go.
In Reno, and first of all, I want to say to Lionel that your wine are going to be on the table in Reno very quickly.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Merci beaucoup.
De rien, Lionel, c'est fantastique. I had the chance to try Domaines Cazes a few months ago with Bruno in Reno, and to be honest, I forgot about it, and I'm so happy that Bruno brought it back on the table because it deserves a nice spot on our wine list. There's a lot of customers, the wind is changing in America, and there's a lot of customers who are ready to explore and try new things and trust the person coming at the table who's going to sell wine. And it comes with the wine, it comes with a plate of food, it comes with a connection between the sommelier and the customer, and that's very where we need to work toward, for people to say, you know what, I trust you, and we're happy to have your recommendation. And those wine are a perfect example of what the American customers want to drink at the table. And the comment earlier about having a bright fruit and all that stuff, but not jammy, that's exactly the kind of wine we need on our wine list, where the wine is not going to overpower the food, but being a complement to it. So it's very exciting. I had like heirloom tomatoes, I had cheese while you were doing the presentation, because that's the best way to have wine. And I cannot wait for those wine to be on the wine list. And yes, natural wine is definitely needs to be on some wine list because people are asking for it.
Great. Thank you so much, Nico. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for the support. And I know that you're going to do extremely well with this wine at Bistro.
Thank you.
Jason, my friend Jason, right. Go for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and to follow up with everybody else's point, and to Lionel's as well, a good natural wine. Because so many times people ask for a natural wine, something with less sulfites, and then you take something to them, and what you were saying earlier, Bruno, you take a wine and they're disappointed by it because of the unstableness, I think is what you said, unstable. And so to have something that you can take to the table, be confident in, and open and give them, and they enjoy it, would help move, especially the American palate, into trying some more of those things from overseas, instead of trying one, being disappointed, and then going back to what they already know is from California. So I think it would definitely help to have something where you have a stable natural wine that you could bring to the table to help expand people's knowledge and tastes overseas to French and other European wines.
I agree with that, Jason. We only have one sense to please the clients, to be sure they come back, is to bring over good wine to the table. So while I'm going to a natural wine tasting sometime, I'm not sure then you're going to please people with this wine are very unstable. And that's why it took me so many years to study the natural wine new wave in the market. And I'm so glad that we team up with people who are dedicated to make biodynamic farming first, because I don't understand the concept of making a natural wine with a vineyard and is no biodynamic. We need to start from the ground. And Domaines Cazes is definitely the best candidate after visiting a lot of different property. They are definitely the pioneer of this natural winemaking, but also biodynamic farming most likely. So that's great. Any question for anyone? I know we are running out of time. It's 10:30, so I don't want to keep anyone. Alan, you have any comments?
Price.
Okay, that's my GM in Vegas. If you don't know, the most important for Alan is prices, but I do understand that. I am going to make that happen. I just want to be sure nobody has any question for Lionel. As you can see, Lionel is starting to be dark over there. The sun went down.
It's darker and darker.
We did have the sunset live as we were talking about wine. Smeeny, my GM in Reno, do you have any questions, Smeeny? You're mute. Unmute, or the mic is not working. Okay. Go ahead again. No, it's not working. Sorry. Text on the chat, Smeeny. It's not working. Sorry about that. Then anybody has any questions so far? Are we good? We're going to wait for Lionel in a minute. But I want to thank you everyone to be part of this meeting. I am going to stop the recording. I hope you did enjoy for what you saw this today and what you hear from Lionel. As you can see, this guy is very passionate about his land. He's very passionate about where he's from. And he's also a huge supporter of the program. And I want to thank the whole family of Cazes and Lionel
I would like to
happen. Go ahead, Lionel.
I would like to thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you for all the comments on my wine. It's for me the most important things. After the harvest, we work a lot, and when we find people with the sensibility of the work and the passion we put in each bottle, for me, it's my best pleasure. So thank you very much. Pay attention to you. Take care of you, and I hope to welcome you to visit you very, very soon.
Very well. I hope you have light on your car right now.
No, that's my problem.
That's what I thought. So thank you again,
so
Lionel.
I have to leave.
Yeah, you do. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Lionel. Thanks a lot. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
I need a lighter.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.